Mic on.
Wondering if it. Huh. I don't know if my microphone was on when I was talking there, but if it wasn't on, I'm running a little bit late today, so let's load up our flight. Take the trusty Cessna 172. And switch our settings to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to set up the audio to there and that to that. All right, perfect. Flight. Go to our flight planner. We're going to choose KFWA. Now, if we were flying an airline or something like that, somewhere we needed to really calculate the fuel, we would use SimBrief, but I don't think we need to do that. So Fort Wayne, we're just going to start on an active runway today. And we're going to go to KSBN, which is South Bend, not too far to the west. Okay, we're going to do VOR to VOR. We're going to find our route. A few hops here. Got 2 VORs. And northwest. Oops. Okay, so it's a short flight, so I think I'm going to go with about 3,500 feet. Stick to the ground so we can. It is a VFR, so we want to be able to see things. Alright. Once we get in here, we shall. Yeah, we're definitely going to do daytime. Delicious coffee. Okay. Let's get our controls up here. Taxiing and flying without a rudder may be difficult. Why? Without a rudder. Why did it say that? Did I lose my rudder already? Oh. I don't have my joystick plugged in. Alright, well, let's try this. Yeah, this is, once we take that survey. Yeah. Okay. Why is it? We'll just put both of them through the headphones. And we're going to turn these sound settings down just a tad. They're just very loud. Okay. That's loaded. Let's load our weather. We want our weather to be correct. I think it's a pretty day out there. At least down in southeast Indiana. Okay, so we've got 200 for 12, 200 for 12, which is 12 knot winds coming out of 200. And let's go to Little Nav Map. We'll get rid of our previous flight, and then we will load our current one. Okay. We have some dogs growling in the background. So yesterday, in previous videos, I didn't have my VORs set, so now I do. Now I can just look here and say, okay, well, there's the VOR for that. So let's go ahead and get that set up. We're taking off from Fort Wayne. We're going to the first VOR, which is Oscar Lima Kilo. Set it up here. Of course, it would help if I looked at 11040. Okay, 11040. We'll switch to that. That's what I wanted to be. We want to keep our landing lights off, or on, taxi off. We don't need a taxi anymore. I'm not even going to turn my landing lights on. It's daytime. We're supposed to. But it's daytime and I'll forget it anyways. And I need to get better with that. But we'll switch to GPS. Set our cruise altitude to 3,500. 3,500 is how it's set. Alright. Let's get permission to take off here. Okay. Just get that set up. Okay, we've got everything set up here. So 3,500 is going to be our top of climb. And our top of descent is going to occur just after the GSH. About right here. We'll have 11 miles to descend. Now we want to look at our airports too. So this one's important. Let's go back here. We have we actually don't want to take off from this direction with the winds like that. We want to take off from 23, not 05. So we'll go back here. We can go to our airport here and just take off from 0. Take off from 23, was it? Wow, I'm struggling. 23, yes. Alright. So, yes, we heard. And now we have to take off, do our request again, which is fine. We want to go against the wind when we're taking off and landing. Yes. Okay. So, we can go here, and now that we're pointed the correct way, it's going to be quite a push. Our next VOR, we might as well get that programmed in, 113.7. So let's see. It's already set to 113.7. That's fortunate. That's weird. It's like, yes. Sorry. Now clearly, if this is real life, which it never will be for me, but if this is real life, I would not be in any shape to fly because I'm tired. I haven't had my coffee, and I'm a little unprepared, and I'm running 2 hours late. So people who were waiting for the flight would have not tolerated that, and it's not professional. I want to be as professional as I can, so I will lecture and chastise myself later. Okay. It looks like our arrival airport. Let's look at our, well, let's look at the airport first. Assuming the wind is going this way, we want to land on we don't need a long runway, so 27 right would be a good one. Actually, the best one is actually 18 since we're going into the wind. So we'll go runway 18. And we can already select that here. We want to get as much done on the ground as possible. That's what I've been told by real pilots. If you do everything on the ground that you can, you're going to be more prepared, and you won't have as much to worry about up there, because up there, there's lots of stuff we need to take into consideration, keep busy with, and we're going to go to 27 left. Or is it, I think what I'm going to start doing is also, oh, we're going 18, okay, is writing this down. Let's see, GPS 18. Is there ILS 18 though? No. There's VOR 18. What does that mean? I think that's just the VOR for 18? We're gonna go, because we do want to land into the wind. We'll go RNAV 18. RNAV is just VFR. And it's gonna have, I think we're gonna come parallel to the runway, going against, or actually against the wind, and then we're gonna make a pattern downwind. Is that how it? Or no? Well, I know that this way, well, we're doing VOR and ILS, so let's stick with ILS, even though it's, we'll do 27. Okay, so Misha is going to be our entry point into the VOR, or into the localizer. So let's look up here. I don't see the localizer. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's Misha right here. So we'll be coming in this way. It's kind of against the wind. This would be preferable, but that's not the practice we're doing this week. We're doing VOR and ILS. We'll be flying right over Notre Dame. If you guys have seen the movie Rudy, it's awesome. So roughly when we get to our top of descent, I'm going to activate the approach and the descent to Misha. And let's look at Misha. So this is going to be, jeez, I can't remember anything. I said 27 left, right? Yes. Okay, so 27 left. ILS. So let's look at this localizer intercept point on the descent glide slope. So Misha we need to meet that at around 1972 or 2000. So we'll be at 2000. See, right here, we're still in the localizer at 2000. So when we intercept this, we're going to hit our approach. We'll hit our approach, and then it'll guide us in. Okay. And let's look at our, one moment.
Mic off. Mic on.
Sorry, had to sneeze. The localizer is going to be 109.3 there. So after 113.0, we're going to tune to 109.3. And once we do, we're going to be coming from Misha, like right here. Right here, actually, right here. So when we're at this point, we're going to test the...
Mic off. Mic on.
Wow, that phlegm, that's for sure. We'll test the Morse code and then we'll grab that localizer and let it pull us right in. Okay. And it looks like we're going to have probably a strong crosswind from the south. So hopefully it clears up by then. Everything is in here. We don't need this right now. But I think we can take off. We've had clearance. So I also want to look at one more thing. It says here that we want to be at 10 nautical miles out. We want to be at 3,500. So I've had a tendency, I've seen that to go like really high up really quick. I'm going to try to do a gradual, which means manual flying at least until, let's see, where would this meet? It'll tell us. Yeah, we can set the feet per minute to, instead of like 700, which it usually is, we'll set it to like 4. Because it'll take us like, okay. Here we go. Got to counter off. We have to counter that left torque from the engine by hitting right rudder. Airspeed is alive, and we are at V1. We want to go. We want to keep it between 74 and 80 degrees on our ascent. So I'm going to try to be mindful of that. And we don't need to gun the engine. We don't need to get our RPMs out of at a crazy RPM. We want to keep it between 2100 RPMs and 2500 RPMs. Again, please don't take anything I'm saying here as pilot instruction. It's not. I am learning just how to fly a sim. So much different experience, I would imagine, in a plane. So then we're going to set our autopilot and our altimeter. And see how it says vertical speed 700? We're going to decrease that to 400 so we don't climb too drastically. There's no need to. And we don't have any flaps to put up because we didn't really need them with this wind. and because we're in a Cessna. If we were in a commercial jet, we're definitely going to need flaps 5, is what they call it. It's just the first set of flaps. But we would never take off from that airport in a, not that runway at least, in an airliner. Okay, so now we're going to hit our nav. I'm kind of simulating how they will, I think the ATC, this is how I think it works. They get people, they'll say like runway heading for so-and-so miles, just to get them out of the runway space. So I kind of wanted to travel a little bit outwards before I made my GPS turn. Okay, so let's look at our, so 110.40, that's what we're looking for. So we can actually hit our nav 1 and start searching for it. To a little bit of an increase here. Let's check our profile here. Yeah, see, not sure what's going on there. It's one thing. What might be? Let's hit our. Let's adjust our barometer. Huh? Okay. Let's see if we can access that profile here. Can we? It doesn't. Well, here it is. Da 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 da. Yeah. So this is really cool. This means we don't have to access the VORs or anything in game. We can just use a little nav map to access the Morse code and the information about every VOR and every airport. Like if I were to click on this airport, it would give me the information about that. Awesome. This is 100% free little nav map. I love it. Maybe in another episode I can feature this or go through this and learn a little bit more about it and give the credit where credit is due to the author. It's one person that built this. And this will also give us a profile, a current performance profile of our current airplane. What it's doing, how much fuel is consumed, the true airspeed, vertical speed, 400, which is what we just set. Our fuel flow, 59 pph, which if we look over here, is 59 pph, which doesn't, I don't really understand how to read 59 out of that bar, but we'll trust it. Okay, we don't need to verify that anymore. See, we're doing a slow incline. This doesn't make any sense. Like, first of all, it has me going backwards. Did I go back in time? But this is more in line with this slope. In the past, it's been like, you know, it hasn't really followed it. So maybe, maybe even doing 200 or 100. If we reduce our feet per minute, it's going to bring us closer to this, I want to call it a regression line, because I come from statistics and stuff. But this line here, this is our ascent slope. It would bring us closer down this way. But once we get up here, we're gonna be even. And it looks like it's gonna be within 10 nautical miles. Hopefully. Maybe not. How's this going up here? Why isn't our DME working? Did I pass it already? I should be picking up the distance measuring equipment should be picking up that, I would think. If I'm on the right VOR, one more. Is it? Huh. I don't know. Not sure. We're at 3,500? Let's look at our... Yeah, so we're at 3,500. Yeah, we didn't quite... We got there a little bit early. A couple miles. I love coffee. I love creamer. You know, I think I drink coffee because I love creamer. My favorite creamer so far is Cold Stone. Whatever it's a cream they have. And I like peppermint mocha. Very good stuff. Okay, so Oscar Lima Kilo. We'll be taking heading 308. That's what these 323s are. Like if we look at our heading here, we're going at a roughly about 323. Okay, we can turn that off. Not sure why my distance measuring equipment is not working. If you guys have any idea, please let me know. And I know, I tell here we have two. We have two comms. We have COM 1, which will let us, I don't know if one is just a backup or is it like for serious planning where you have, well anyway, if you have a lot of stuff you're doing, and let's say you're doing multiple VORs and switching between multiple towers and you got it all planned out, I guess you could plan your first one here, second one here, third one here, fourth one here, and when it came time to switch between second and third one, you would just hit COM 2. And then plan in everything accordingly there. You can even switch between nav 2, or you can do both. Look at that. Excuse me. I'm not sure what some of these do, but that's stuff we can work on in the future to learn about. As you can see, we lost visibility. I want to say for about visibility's maybe a mile or two, maybe 2 miles. Not good at judging. Again, not a real pilot. So if it gets worse, we're going to head below the cloud cover. We don't want to be in this. Those are IFR conditions, and we're trying to limit this this series at least to VFR, visual flight rating. IFR would stand for instrument flight rating, which would be like this. When you're flying instrument flight rating, this is all you look at. This is all you see. You don't look out here for anything. And you would maintain the VORs navigation by using these. This will make sure you're at the proper elevation. This will make sure you're at the proper vertical navigation. So I guess, is that what that means? So I've heard the terms LNAV and VNAV. So if we're working LNAV, that would be a lateral navigation. We are getting battered around. And a VNAV would be vertical navigation. So these are the things you'd want to line up as you fly from VOR station to VOR station. And that distance measuring equipment it's key because it tells you when you've reached that VOR. So if you've reached the VOR, this will start going wonky again until you switch your VOR to point, so we have a proper VOR to point to, rather than to reverse our course, which that would do, I guess. Okay. But we're not doing IFR. It looks pretty good. We got about, I would say about maybe 10 miles. I can look on our map, see where we are. So we're about to hit the VOR point, the first one. 10. I'm not sure why my distance measuring equipment isn't working. No, it's not that. See how that went crazy? That's because this nav was pointing this way, and I would... You know what? I'm going to refrain from making a comment on that because I don't rightly know. But this is really interesting. This usually works, doesn't it? If I hit my DME... I'm not sure. Not sure. So our next VOR, once we pass this one, and we are doing that now, it's going to be 113.0 at Golf Sierra Hotel. Making a return. So let's go ahead and we're going to switch that now. And we can pull up our search for it. Now we're not going to, since we're past the other one, we're not going to hear the one behind us anymore. We're looking for nav1 on okay, so okay, so that's it. So this is Goshen. Goshen, Indiana. If anyone's watching that's from northern Indiana, hello from southeast Indiana. So, localizer, this is the localizer we're going to use. We're going to hit it at Point Misha. And once we get down here, we're going to be intercepting that, remember, at 2000, 1972, which is my birth year. Look at that. It's fortuitous. So we're going to hit 2000. 2000 is still inside that localizer, which means we'll intercept it. And once we do, we'll hit approach and just come right in. Gonna be a short flight today. Oh, look at that. It's like God opened up a VFR corridor for us because he knows we need to be safe. All right. Alright, well, let's do an outside shot of the plane here. I'm going to take some pictures. Wow, look at that. I don't know what the snow situation is like up there. Why can't I get around the plane? Well, getting up, oversleeping like that, we definitely lost our sunset shot, or our sunrise shot, rather. But it's still pretty up here. Look at Winter Wonderland here. A little bit of a weather cell over here. I like to get the front of the plane. Let's go. Good stuff. Okay, we are looking good. Now, if you see right here, it says we're in a. I think the plane being sideways like that. I think this program actually shows the crosswind hitting us because it's coming from. Oh, we can actually hit our weather to see. Hit the nearest weather station. It's coming from 200. Now, if we look at 200 in the plane, 200 is about right here. So it's hitting us from the side, coming this way. So it's going to skew our plane a little bit. And the reason we're pointed this way is to counteract it with the left rudder. So autopilot is counteracting that crosswind. Yeah, it's hitting directly against the airplane. And we really, we're going to be hitting a tough crosswind, so I'm going to be doing a lot of left rudder, even as we approach into the localizer and autopilot. Because I'd like to land in the center someday. Is that the moon? I guess that's the moon. Okay. Okay, now our DME is working. Strange. So we got 19 miles until the next VOR. So let's hit that VOR to see what we're doing. Or to see what, that's the 113.70. Oh, we've already set it. That's right. We can tell here. So after that, we're going to be looking at 109.3. That's going to be, and we want our course to be 274 for this particular runway. Our course is going to be set here. So let's go ahead and, that's 275. West is that 270? 270, sorry. So, that would be rough. It's roughly right here. That's the course for the runway. So when we switch to nav, I don't understand why that's important yet in a small plane. I know that in big planes there's a CRS. I also know that our GPS will, and the messages will sometimes say set course to this. We can look at our nearest airports. That means en route. I know that. So we're still en route. Lots of stuff to learn about the GPS. It's interesting that they're allowed to use the Garmin name here. I wonder if they worked with them directly. Okay, let's make sure our stuff's here. Everything looks good down here. I'm going to throw that on. We're not up high enough to where we would need our pitot to be warmed for fears of icing, but you know, whatever. As you go through the clouds, I know it becomes a concern, and that's when you really want to do it, especially on even on. Whoa. We're hitting. Turn that off. Maybe that on. It's hitting the plane pretty hard here. Okay, make sure. I don't like that sound. I haven't heard that sound before, or maybe I have. I noticed that with the ATC, there's no way to call out a mayday. That's unfortunate because sometimes you need to. Um, because of the AccuFeel that we have set up here, we have realism settings at max for everything. Actually, here, let's set our let's just hope we don't go down. We've had a good flight so far. Let's see where we are here. In case we do, we want to be able to call out Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. We want to be able to call out our position as well as possible, I think, and make sure that we identify ourselves. I think one way to do it, we're never supposed to do an ident without being told so. That would be a good indication that if we do go down, and let's say we couldn't radio them or anything, we would hit ident. And I don't know enough about it. Um, I worry about all the pilots up there doing what they love, and it is risky. It's dangerous, but it's when you are passionate about something, the risk just becomes part of the passion. I was reading some of the pilot handbook, and it talked about the bad qualities of a pilot, and thrill seekers and risk takers are a bad quality. And I could definitely say that in my youth, I took risks. Wasn't really a thrill seeker. I'm terrified of heights, but I have no problem. I don't get vertigo being in a plane, um, especially at the helm, and I think that has to do. Well, I mean, at least in a sim, I think it has to do with having some kind of modicum of control, like being in the back of an airliner. You're completely out of control. But as I learned more about the plane and aerodynamics, I realize how near impossible it is to just fall out of the sky. The plane wants to be in the air because of the nature of its build, the aerodynamics. Even if it hit turbulence, it's still going forward and still creating lift. Now, obviously, very rough turbulence can affect the airframe and it can damage the wings, and then you're out of options. But if it's a good build and if you're dealing with moderate turbulence and things like that, then you're not in too much danger. There isn't too much to worry about. We're gonna tune in. Not hearing anything. We don't need them. Okay, we're hitting our second VOR. And if we look at the airport here, control tower is 118.9, so we can go ahead and set that up too. So at least we can talk to him. switch that over. Oh, we need to change this too. There we go. 109.3. That's going to be our VOR. We're not going to really hit that until we're in the localizer. Once we're in the localizer, we can hit approach if we're at the correct altitude. So let's look and see if are we at our top of descent. No, we're not there yet. Lots of stuff going on here. It's really cool. Every localizer's oriented differently, obviously according to the runway. And not every airport has a localizer. So in that case, you'd have to fly in RNAV, which is basically just VFR. You're looking at it. You're maintaining a parallel position on the downwind, and then you're making a turn based on the traffic patterns of that airport, and you're doing it 1,000 feet above the elevation of the runway. And then you'll make that turn, descend into the wind. That's what I'm learning about all this stuff. There's just so much to learn, and I don't have any structure. I'm just winging it. Okay, so we're about 0.6 nautical miles from that, so we can go ahead and switch this actually because it says we're past it. Yeah. Okay. So once we switch this, that's gonna go blank for a minute until we reach that. Actually, let's hit we should be actually hitting the VOR of the airport. That's ground. This is information. So if we wanted to listen to the information, we could hit 118.15. Let's go and do that. Good.
Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition clear. Temperature 13 Celsius. Dew point 3 Celsius. Altimeter 2.
That's what we haven't been doing. Okay, so that was our ATIS ground, which is it gives us information. It gives us the time of day, which is 1814 Zulu, and I don't understand the difference between that. Still need to learn that. The dew point is important because it helps. Dew will help increase icing conditions on the wings, and why that's dangerous is because when you get ice on the wings, it interrupts the aerodynamics of the wings and how they're supposed to function. So it becomes, your control of the airplane becomes less predictable. It's bad. It's just bad. So we're heading 305 right now, 303. Let's look and see. This heading here is 310. So let's check it again. Should be this way right here actually, but that's okay. It's not going to be precise. It's 25 knots. This is almost unbearable. It's actually okay that we're landing. Any runway we choose here, The ones that are going to be active are not going to be on this side because the wind is pushing against it and it's going to be pushing things too fast. You want to fly into the wind. You want to create as much lift as possible when you're landing and taking off and during flight. So at least we got some wind here. I think when I've reached the top of descent, so we need to start descending. We want to reach, actually, 2,000? Yeah, we'll reach 2,000. And we want to go ahead and activate our approach because we want to hit that Misha waypoint. So let's go to proc. We will activate our approach. And you see how it kind of takes us over here? It's taking us to the Misha point right here. So right here, it's pointing us towards that. Once we get in there, it's going to automatically pull us in, assuming we're at 2,000 feet. And we can have this up because it is VFR. Yeah, we want to get down a little bit quicker. I probably should have made that turn. Okay, we're going to slow down just a tad. And we can see our airport, or air runway right here. Okay, this is where I always goof up. So once we're in the localizer, I'm going to switch to nav and hit approach. That's what my reading and my advice from people has led me to believe. Okay, and we do have the localizer selected, so we're good there. Okay. Now, if you see this right here, VTF, that means vectors to final, and I don't understand what that means. But we actually did pretty good. We're going to hit 2,000 by the time we get to Misha, I think. Hopefully. We can slow down just a little bit and add some flaps. And our gears are already down. See that right there? That's when we get the localizer. This is where this becomes important. Lining up the localizer. This will help us if we're not on autopilot. We can manually. So once we get over here, we intercept this pink line. We're gonna make our heading to this right here. And if you notice how that lines up, this is what we were told, 274, right? Yeah, 274. So everything here has a reason, and I just so much respect for the aviation industry and pilots who do this in real life. So there we go. We are at 2,000, so we can intercept that. We're going to go ahead and hit more flaps. And now, now that we're in here, we're going to switch to nav and approach. We're in the localizer, so we should be pointing right there. Maybe. Yeah. Yes, no. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna go wonky here. Yeah, okay, so it should be bringing us in. We'll notice our... Yeah, it's going down. It's going down on its own. There was. This is where I don't, do I need to hit vectors? Maybe I need to take Alt off. Of course, it's gonna do this right now. Why is it doing that? It's not taking me down, and I really don't know why. This is what I ran into the other day. My hit, yeah. It's just not taking us down fast enough. I have to manually do this? Okay, well, I'm gonna just land this manually. It's just frustrating because I'm in the localizer. I'm at the right... thought I was at the right distance. Make sure flaps are at full. That's okay. This isn't a rough landing by any means. We can turn that off. Look, we're gonna come in with that left rudder, because a little bit too high. It's okay. VFR we can land manually, it's no big deal. Okay, not too bad. Okay, we're gonna flare. Float, float, float. Okay. That was a successful landing. We lived. Okay. And we are at South Bend Regional. And we'll go ahead and taxi up here and park. We can hit ATC if we want. Close this. I'm just so frustrated that I cannot make that work. We'll refuel. How about that? We'll just taxi to fuel.
South Bend ground, Cessna, November, Alpha Romeo, Juliet, 72. Request taxi to fuel. Cessna, Juliet, 72. Taxi.
Very windy. Very windy. It's blowing us off the... Okay.
Fuel, Cessna, Juliet, 72.
We don't need progressive taxi. We're right here. So, what we should have done before we landed, that I always forget. This is why checklists are important, and I've got to start using them. Landing and taxi. We can turn that off now and that off, but yeah, we blew it. So we'll pretend we're getting our fuel, which is right there. So frustrating. I might not have been... I mean, I picked up the localizer, and I might not have been low enough. I wonder... We'll just pull up here and... Yeah, we need to come in correctly here. Okay, now we want to keep the line in between our emergency lights, roughly. A little bit further. Okay, that's not bad, but we'll get up here a little bit more. Okay, we're here. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, if you did, or watching it later, or however you came to see us. Tomorrow we shall fly from South Bend to Gary, Indiana. So we'll go to the Gary Airport, whatever it's called. We'll figure it out tomorrow. All right. Well, thanks, and you guys have a